now that kind of sounds like people on a vacation in New Orleans. About to stop and get y'all some drinks. Yeah, you sober at 3 o'clock in New Orleans on a vacation. Something wrong with you. I mean, I gotta tell y'all the truth. You should have came on this bus for drinks. But my name is Jared. I'll be a tour guide / bus operator for the day. Just like Jared the jeweler. He went to Jared's. It's the same Jared, just minus all the good stuff. I seen y'all's first time in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Alright, well, this is my first time. I just saw this bus laying around and decided to hop in it. Of course, I'm just playing you all. I'm certified to be here. I definitely want to welcome you all to my beautiful, beautiful city. And for my people that's been here before, welcome back, welcome back. Now, right now, we're on Rampart Street, about to make our way down. But most importantly, y'all, we are in the French Quarter. Now, the French Quarter is the oldest part of the city of New Orleans. Now, New Orleans was founded in 1718 by a guy by the name of John Baptiste Lemoyne de Bienville. Now, he was sitting down here by the French, basically to start something new for the French colony. Now, the reason is simply being able to read music off of paper. Now, slaves, they weren't as fortunate, but they were talented. So you hear that sheet music being played and sometimes play it back. Better written on that paper. That was called broken music. Broken music. Now, those slaves have those Sundays off. They meet on Rampart Street, mainly in Congo Square, which is now referred to as Louis Armstrong Park. And meet at a fellowship, worship, do a little business, trade their own, but it was mainly the day off. So you have your free people of color playing that sheet music. It would start to mix and mingle those slaves' broken music. You have what's called the birth of ragtime music. Ragtime music. Now today we refer to it as jazz music. So that's how jazz music came about here in New Orleans. So some of y'all can say that jazz music is just European music played badly. Or better. Now, walking around or driving around in the French Quarters on your own, some of you all probably wonder to yourself, Jared, it is 2019. Why does everything look so prehistoric in the French Quarter? Well, it is the history part we're trying to preserve. So if y'all didn't know, the tourism industry is a $5 billion industry. Now, it's leaving out of the French Quarters and entering the streets of New Orleans. Know your eyes do not deceive you. Things are changing fast. Now, we're headed to the Ninth Ward area, but most of the destruction happened for Katrina. Now, it's reported over 1,800 people lost their lives during the storm. Well over 900 people alone lost their lives in the area where we are headed. Dang. Right now, you guys, we're in the 8th Ward. Ward in New Orleans, it means voting district. It is simply where you vote. Ward is simply where you vote. Now, this 8th Ward area did receive up to 4 to 5 feet of water. Want y'all look around, look how it looks like a little neighborhood. Not like a neighborhood you all are probably used to seeing back home, but it has been. Third door, shoot a shotgun, the shell should go straight through. Please don't try this at home. It doesn't work. The real reason you're supposed to open the front door and the back door, and that cool summer breeze supposed to come through and cool off every room in the home. Please don't try this at home. It doesn't work. There's no more cool summer breezes. It's best to just invest in an air conditioner. This home right here to our left has one in almost every window.
Yes.
And these homes were built before central air. That's why you guys still see window units and you still to this day. I'm trying to make this slow left turn so you can look at this great light post right here to your right. Not the green red light, the great light post. You see brown rust stains on this great light post on this corner. That's the water line when it sat there resided and rusted out that post right there.
He must have rusted out their church van too. This is all these things.
All it did was gut our homes out and rebuild from the inside out. So a lot of these homes, they may look old on the outside, but they're pretty much brand new on the inside. And majority of our homes down here are made with cypress wood. And cypress wood has the reputation not to rot out. So that's why we pretty much didn't have to tear our homes down, because of the cypress wood that they're made with. And the cypress tree is our state tree. The bald cypress to be exact. Coming up on your right, these will be all brand new homes that were built after the storm, courtesy of Harry Connick Jr., the Marsalis family, and the Habitat for Humanity. All three of those organizations got together and built these homes for local artists and musicians on your right-hand side. This is a glimpse of Musicians Village. A lot of the people you see performing and working in the French Quarters do reside in Musicians Village and all throughout this Ninth Ward area as well. This is really important because it's really put in place just so like we can keep our musicians and our culture here after the storm, so we lose too much of it or them. These homes are influenced by the storm. That's why you see raised higher than the natural raised homes you see all throughout New Orleans. We already natural raised our homes like 2 or 3 cinder blocks. A lot of y'all see a lot of solar panels. I don't want to say the company took advantage of us, but they saw opportunity in the fact that we were rebuilding down here. So they gave us incentives to slap these solar panels on our homes and rebuilding. You get enough sunlight for it. So now, Musicians Village, beautiful neighborhood, but it's just a small staple of what really needs to be done in this area. Because we turned off of the 4 to 5 blocks of Musicians Village, we're headed right back to devastation and people that kind of missed it. Now, of course, it's real life. So a few rundown homes, not as many as y'all have seen. Now, best example I give you how it used to look in this area. These shotgun homes are passing up. Got 1 on your right and 2 on your left. But it used to look like these homes, house of the house of the house. And getting back to the history of shotgun homes, like the gun, there's 2 versions. There's a single barrel and there's a double barrel. The single barrel holds 1 family, the double barrel holds 2. And back then, you guys, they taxed you off the width of your lot, not the length. So this is another way to dodge taxes by building your houses this way. Even 13 years after the storm, I can still take you down streets in this neighborhood where homes haven't been touched or still need to be worked on, right around homes that are occupied. And be fixed up is like these to your right, but you own it. So you're talking car prices in this area. Some people know the tricks of the trades and the laws of the land, but some people get swindled out of their homes by people coming through and cutting the grass for a year or 2 and paying the back tax that may be owed on the home. And it's used the homeowner. If you could reimburse that person for doing all that, they're gonna try to take your home from you and give it to that person. So you imagine you coming home from a storm and learning you gotta fight for your property because somebody took it upon themselves to cut your grass and pay your back taxes while you're away. So that's kind of stuff people going through down here in New Orleans along with going through a crisis. New Orleans on average 8 feet below sea level now, but that is just an average. We have areas that are above sea level. We have areas that just doesn't flood because it is simply protected by the levee system. But this ninth ward area is considered to be one of those areas that wouldn't flood because it is simply protected by the levee system. That means these homeowners were not required to have flood insurance. Now, I read that 85% of homeowners in Houston weren't required to have flood insurance. So they were told they're in a no flood zone. So they went through the same thing we went through. We were told we were protected by the levees. We wouldn't flood in this area. So you're already struggling to make ends meet. Early. Before the 19th century, before the Civil War, all owned by Creoles and free people of color. This is the Creole version of the Garden District. This would be St. Charles Street, where all those mansions are in the Garden District. There's actually Esplanade Street, aka Millionaires Road. This is where the Creoles and the free people of color built their homes to rival those in the Garden District. Now we're all superstitious and all the way. We all have our little rituals, but our superstition down here, they say if you paint your shutters and your fence green, your home will be protected from evil spirits. Also, if you paint the ceilings of your porches blue, this will keep birds and insects from hovering around your porch or laying nests upon your porch. This works because they think this is the sky. So an around the house project for you all, you go home, go to Lowe's and Home Depot, get you a bucket of paint and get to paint. Call me new school, but at my house they say if you got 1, 2, 3 blue ADT security signs, you're also protected from evil spirits. At least they call the police for you. We're passing up John McDonald High School coming up to our left. John McDonald, he was a wealthy. They say, wow. That was nice of you all, but he was also egotistical. All those schools had to be named as such. John McDonald number 1, John McDonald number 2. Unfortunately, I love my high school. I graduated from John McDonald number 35. We didn't call it John McDonald number 35. We just said 35. Y'all heard Jazz Fest. Yes. He was coming down here to perform up separate flights of stairs. Oh, wow. That's right. See, ladies, I don't know if y'all know it or not, but you all covered up a whole lot more back then than you do now. I mean, y'all hardly showed any skin. So I guess anything turned us on as men in the South, left a little more to the imagination. So that house was built at a time where men and women had to walk up separate flights of stairs because ladies, your ankles was a real big turn on back in the day. Don't sound like much, but hey, that's what they went to. It was so serious that if a guy caught a glimpse of a single woman's ankles down here in the South, he had the right to ask her to marry him. Now, she refused and hurt his ego. Of course, the men will let the women get away with it that easy. So what the men did, they labeled that woman loose. Loose. So you've been called a loose woman in your day. That's because they saw them ankles. Now, if you look down this last street to your right, you see one of the openings you guys used to get to our New Orleans Prayer Ground, a racetrack, where Jazz our cemetery, like some of y'all take pride in your mailboxes back home. This is St. Louis number 3 cemeteries. Y'all can see we bury a little different. We bury above ground, but some of y'all seen above ground burial plots for right. So not that throw it off down here. The reason why is back then New Orleans on average 6 feet below sea level. So you can only imagine when you put in the ground, you just come popping right back up. We tried it y'all way. We tried drilling holes in caskets. We tried putting rocks and sand in caskets. They still kept popping back up. So we did what took it to the European style when the Spanish took over. And they simply introduced us to this form of burial. Now all these tombs you're looking at, all these tombs are pretty much referred to as family tombs. So that being said, what's the max amount of numbers you're gonna have in your families? Please don't say no single digit numbers neither.
Right.
Let me make it easy. If y'all had a family reunion and everybody was getting along that day, how many people would show up minus the police? 50, 60. Alright, so you can still bury some of y'all families together. So let's say 150 people decide to show up. That's how many people fit to any one of these tombs. Y'all, the front part of our tombs are cosmetic. So cosmetic. But once you're sitting down there, that's where you finish dissolving. Like natural cremation. Dust to dust. Think of these like human compost piles, you guys. That's basically how they truly operate. Are y'all staying around those blank looks on your face? You guys ever heard the terms, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole, or the term you got shafted? Well, that's where y'all get that from. We gave the man the shaft and fall down to what's called a crevasse. Now, to be honest, y'all should be mad looking at me like y'all getting ripped off back home. Because like I said, these are family tombs. So one person out your family buys any one of these tombs, guess what? Everybody can use it. If you don't make that person mad, friends, cousins, uncles, auntie, nephew, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, ex-wife, ex-husband, don't matter. If you okay with them using your plot, they can use it. Now, we buy timeshares all the time. You guys just like buying a timeshare. Also, it's a space saver. Think about the way you all would bury 150 people back home. Don't get me wrong, crowds laying right in front of those little tombstones in the ground. We have up to 500 people in some of these tombs alone. Also, it's a time saver. How many of y'all like run around different cemeteries praying for all those different people? Half ago, so he joins his wife in that big white tomb. He invented the blackened seasoning. So without him, there'd be no blackened fish, blackened chick, blackened shrimp, all that blackened food y'all like to eat. So now y'all know there's a difference between blackened and burnt. Blackened is a seasoning, so let them serve you no burnt food talking about is blackened. Blackened is a season. Also, you guys, if you in there, you're gonna be able to see our all priest tomb. But right behind our all priest tomb is gonna be the same kind of tomb with an angel on top, gray. You guys with that red beans and rice, yellow rice, dirty rice, red rice, all that Zatarans rice made back home. The Zatarans tomb is located right here in the front as well. So you guys see, even in the cemetery, it's about location, location, location. These restaurants will be advertising even when they finish dying off. Most recent on Two Jack's tomb is 2013. So yes, we still bury this way to this day. This is how we bury down here. And the office is open, they just don't take cash. It is raining, it was raining, it's kind of slacking up now, so we're going to get off real quick. I'm going to let people take advantage of getting off and taking pictures out here. On Orlins Avenue Street, go figure. Whoosh. So as y'all can see, it wasn't a constant rise of water. That water came spilling through the city, washing away anything and anybody in this path. So you did not have time to react. Now the levees that we have now can't withstand a Category 3 hurricane. Katrina was a 5. So it's not a matter of if it's going to happen again, but when. But y'all, no matter where you go in the world, you can't escape Mother Nature and the fear. You got to deal with it in some shape or form or fashion. You got earthquakes, hurricanes elsewhere, tornadoes, snowstorms, tsunamis, mudslides, fires, you name it. We moved back and rebuilt New Orleans because we love New Orleans, nothing more, nothing less. You only got 32 degrees down here in New Orleans and the whole city shut down. We scared of ice. We don't even have the equipment to handle snow down here in New Orleans. But it did snow the Christmas before Katrina, so we should have known something bad was about to happen. I'll never forget it snowed on Christmas Day, the Christmas before Katrina. That was my first time seeing snow. You see the Spanish influence all the way out here with the tile roofs on the homes. Now before Katrina, used to be house after house after house after house after house with these tile roofs. The reason why this area is not a ward, because they want to become their own little city or town separate from New Orleans. And once they found out how much it actually costs to run that little city or town, they quickly came run it back to New Orleans. That's the only reason why this area is not a ward, but it is still part of New Orleans. And the empty lot in this area is going for $275,000. You're not going to put a shotgun home on that. So let's get a home built for $100,000. Looking at $400,000 on up in this area. And that's being cheap at $400,000 with that kind of scenario happening for you. basically the money man behind the mission. He gave John Baptiste the boats and equipment and things he needed to come out here to make New Orleans what it is today. Louis Pontchartrain in France. Some of y'all, it's kind of hard to see, but if you look out there in the distance, your far front right, that's the Causeway Bridge. It holds the Guinness Book of World Records for the longest bridge over a body of water. It stretches for 24 miles. You might want to gas up, you take that bridge. Don't chance it, you won't make it. Now that I'm bringing to y'all's attention, you eat out, you'll see a local beer y'all's menu by the name of Abita Springs beer. That bridge is taking you to Abita Springs, Louisiana. Also, we drunk a local water down here called Kentwood. That bridge is taking you to Kentwood Springs, Louisiana. Kentwood. That's where superstar Britney Spears is from.
Oh, that bridge is so
We got Yacht Club right here to your right. It's the 4th oldest yacht club in America right here to your right. You also have Landry Seafood House, Landry on the Lake, with some great food and great scenery out of here to your right at Landry on the Lake. Got the Blue Crab Restaurant and Oyster Bar. It's a lot of great places to eat if you're not scared to get out of the hustle and bustle of the French quarters. This is my yacht to the right, so don't worry about me once you start singing, I'll be alright. We passing up Felix Oyster Bar. I hate oysters. But I love char grilled oysters. That's the only way I eat them. They're not raw. They actually cooked on an open flame, so it got a grilled taste to it. Cooked with a Parmesan, garlic, butter, cheese sauce on top of it, served with French bread. It comes sizzling to you and bubbling like a fajita.
Yes,
So if you want to introduce yourself to oysters, char grilled is the way to do it. I still won't eat them raw, but I'm making up for lost time with my char grilled oysters. I done pretty much had them everywhere after all from down here. We're passing up this floodgates. He left all the stop signs on it because once Lake Pontchartrain starts threatening the city with flooding, we're going to simply close this floodgate to your left. We're just going to complete this man-made levee wall to your right.